Hello, welcome back to the channel. So this week we're talking about my love of cars and motorcycles and what I think first started getting onto it, and the fact that I'm now jobless. Yeah. So let's start off with, so hang around to the end and we'll talk about why I'm jobless. I won't go into full details. I won't go into full details of what I've done for a living, but we'll come into that at the end. But to start off with, let's talk about how I think I come into the love of cars, motorcycles, anything with an engine. It all started off when I was a very young nipper. So my real father, who was in the St John's or Red Cross or something like that, some kind of first aid medical thing. I remember when he would do the events down at Lyddon Race Circuit back in the day. And sorry about that. Let's try again. So he would do the events down at Lyddon Race Circuit. Any crashes, anyone that needed treatment, he would deal with that. And I would stand there, I would go down there with him in the ambulance, and I would stand there watching. And I remember the smells, the sounds, the sights, and it was just phenomenal. And I think that's kind of sort of stuck with me. I've always been sort of had an interest as such in them, just that smell, that sound. I've always loved the smell of exhaust fumes since then. It's just been amazing. Sorry about that. Probably only about 3 or 4, because we lived in Dover at the time. You moved up to Ashford when I was about 5. So I was a very young kid, and I remember sort of standing there on the side. He would attend to the crashes and people needing treatment of some sort or some kind of first aid. And I'd be left, wouldn't be left there, but obviously I'd have someone with me, probably my mum or someone, sat watching the racing. And I remember the sounds of the high revving engines, the smells of the burnt oil and the running rich engines and the exhaust fumes. It's just stuck with me since I was about 3 or 4 years old. I remember having a few hiccups down there. I remember pretending I was a motorcycle, running around this pond, pretending I'd crashed on my motorcycle, and rolling down this little embankment, and it turns out it's full of nettles. So my father had to give me first aid. So yeah, I think it all first stems off from those days of being a young kid. Those sort of smells, those sounds, those sights. I remember watching sidecar racing, the sort of low slung sidecars. It was rallycross and all that then as well, like the Mark 1 Escorts and the Mark 2 Escorts and all that stuff. It was just And then obviously my mum and my real father split up. Don't know what happened there. And my mum started to hang around with a few bikers who were in so obviously they come around on their bikes and stuff. And then my mum met my stepfather Barry, who was really into his bikes. He had a Kawasaki Z1000, and that's where I think it sort of grew from there. It sort of continued growing. I remember being a child and reading the Backstreet Heroes, for those that sort of may remember that magazine. Just looking at the bikes in there, getting ideas for bikes, and then I moved on to cars myself. I remember buying the Hot Rod magazines, looking at the Ford Populars and with the V8s and the Rover rear axles and the space frame cages in them. It was phenomenal. There's another bike up. Give him a nod. Good lad. And another one. Always give him a nod. So yeah, that's where I think my sort of my sort of love of engines and the smells and the sounds comes from. I also remember getting our first house. There's a few bikes out today. It's quite nice, and it's a Friday afternoon, so it's a bit weird. Then I remember when we moved into our first house, because we lived in a flat at first. I was 15 years old. My stepfather wanted to build a shed, so he built a shed out of scaffold planks and some 4x2. Obviously I was brought in to help lug the planks of wood around to the back garden, but we had this massive shed. I have these fond memories of us tinkering. He bought us, me and my brother, a Yamaha tailmate for our first bike. It wasn't my first road bike, but it was a little Yamaha 80cc tailmate, which we had to bump start every time, because it was an absolute arsehole start. And me and my brother learning to ride that. My best mate Alan Dilworth, not sure if he watches these videos, he had a Yamaha PW50. I'd go around there when I was a teenager, ride his PW50. I'd learnt my gears on a Jawa 500 speedway bike, no brakes, entertaining. But yeah, 15 years old, my first proper bike was a Yamaha tailmate. Then I turned 16 years old and I bought my first moped, which was a Honda C50, which is older than me. But I paid 75 quid for it and it kept going. But in this shed, my stepfather, Barry, post a picture of him now, he would teach me the basic mechanics. He wasn't a mechanic himself, he was more of a tinkerer, sounds what I am, but I'd like to learn. Wrong gear. Yeah, he would teach me the basic mechanics, like timing, points, cleaning carbs, cleaning plugs, what plugs should look like and what they shouldn't look like, and not necessarily skimming heads, but cleaning up the heads and the bores and the tops of the pistons on your two stroke, because obviously they're well known for becoming coked up. So that's where I first learned and started learning. He unfortunately passed away when I was 17. I found him unfortunately as well. He was only 38, but he had a massive heart attack. He was a typical builder. He liked his fry-ups, his beers, his curries. He lived an unhealthy lifestyle. But it's one of those things that was over 30 years ago now. I kind of went off the rails a bit. I sorted my life out and I've been tinkering since. The last sort of 15 years I've been tinkering on my own cars and bikes. I'll probably say longer than that, 'cause I'm on Mondeo. I've always loved to tinker. I've always loved to tinker. So yeah, that's basically where I think my love of motorcycles, cars and anything with an engine. And obviously when we had the house, I forgot to say this, we had lawnmowers. We got petrol lawnmowers. So we'd have to work on those every now and again. And I also done a apprenticeship in plant mechanics, but I dropped out because I had kids very young and I needed to pay bills. So yeah, that's where I think it all stems from. Then my first bike, like I said, was a Honda C50. What did I have after that? Honda Suzuki ZR50, which I blew up within a week. Sorry about that rattling sound on my helmet, but my jacket seems to be rattling on my jacket, on my helmet. So I'm going to try and do my jacket up a bit to stop that happening. That's better. Just quite a warm day here in the UK. So yeah, ZR50. Then I had a Honda Melody, bright yellow Honda Melody. Yamaha YB100 was my first proper bike when I was 17, which is an absolute pain in the arse because the timing kept going on it, the points. And then unfortunately my stepfather died and everything went off the rails, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's probably about it really. Oh, then my MTX 125 not long after he passed, so I said his Honda CB750 F2. So that gives you a brief rundown of why I love my motors. There's quite a few bikes out tonight, or today, this afternoon. It's lovely to see. So, let's get on to the sore subject, shall we? I am currently out of work. You may have seen my post recently on YouTube, where I'm offering to fix up people's bikes for free, as long as it doesn't involve paintwork, bent frames or bent forks, unless you're going to give me some more forks. And it doesn't go too in depth in the engine. I am currently out of work, so I've got plenty of free time at the moment. I don't plan on being out of work for too long because I am bored shitless. I hate being out of work. It's the first time I've been out of work in a very long time, in nearly a quarter of a century, and I hate it, absolutely hate it. I am unfortunately having to sign on. I don't want to, but we need something to help tide us over, because I've got finance to pay on this, we've got finance to pay on the car, and I'm the kind of person that would much rather give to the community rather than take, but unfortunately I have had to sign on £180 a fortnight, which isn't a lot of bloody money, which won't even pay for the finance on this. So this is £200 a month. Well, I will if I was to double it up, but I've got bills to pay. So if you'd like to become a member of the channel, do so please, or just like this video, help this channel grow. But as said, I will do anything for work. I'm even applying for cleaning bloody jobs. I don't give a monkey's as long as I'm out there bloody working. I hate it. I hate being a jobless bum. There's only so many videos I can watch on YouTube as well. But anyway, we're going to go down to Rod Robinson's foundry. I need to get out for a couple of hours. I've done plenty of job applying this morning. Co-part near to me is employing, could be quite handy for some crash damaged vehicles. That's ideally what I'd like to do, buy some crash damaged motorcycles and fix those on the channel. But we're getting off track here again, Adrian. So yes, not working, not got much money, at risk of losing my bike. And I don't really want to be doing that because I love this little bike. I say little, my £1,200, £400 vibrator. This is the furthest I've ridden it in a long time. But I've also got running issues with this as well, as you may have heard a little while ago. And you may have seen on a short, it backfired. Cut out and it backfired. So I'll be doing a video on that. I've been informed it might be the fuel pump on its way out. But before all that, I thought I'd take it out for a quick blast, see if this will help it stretch its legs a bit. I do need to be back for a sensible time, so I've got to pick Indy up from nursery. I suppose that's one good thing about being out at work, I can be there for Indy all the time. Obviously, I would work in a garage if I could, fixing cars or motorcycles, but they normally want experience and qualifications. Because I don't have the qualifications, I've got the experience because I worked in a car body shop, but people normally want the qualifications that go with it, which I don't have, which is a real shame. So I put some posts up as well on Facebook of people wanting their bike, if they want their bikes fixed. Those that may have come over from those Facebook posts, thank you very much and hello. Obviously some I can't do, I can't really do paint in my shed. So it's not fair on you getting a shoddy paint job. I just want to be fair, but obviously if it needs a fairing replaced and you don't mind it being an odd colour, unless you've got it painted already, or your levers replaced, exhaust silencer put on. I don't really want to do headers or downpipes in case those bloody bolts snap in your head. Don't want to be having to deal with that. So yes, the offer's there. If anyone wants their bike fixed, as long as you can bring it to me, it doesn't involve frame, forks or paint, or too in depth in the engine. Don't mind trying to do valve clearances. That's a piece of bumpy road, my arsehole's coming up through my mouth. Missed that bike, sorry buddy. Yeah, I just want to get back to earning something, earning some decent money, and if I can do that from YouTube, great. I don't see that happening. And also the picture quality from this may be slightly different because I can't seem to find my DJI Osmo Action 5. Last person I saw with it was my 3-year-old daughter. After I downloaded some footage from my last ride. So I'm having to do this on the Action 4, unfortunately. So the picture quality might be slightly different, and the sound quality. I am enjoying this ride. This is lovely. Anyway, just want to say a quick hi to Ash Rowland. Good lad. If you don't follow his channel, go over and find him, Ash Rowland. I'll put a link to his channel below. Obviously his channel is much bigger than mine, but I've been loving watching his videos recently. His ZX12R and the Hayabusa and all that malarkey. It's been lovely to see a proper home mechanic doing what I do, tinkering. and we're nearly at Robinson's Foundry, one of my little places that I like going to when I go out on the bike, down here in Canterbury. There are a couple of bike shops in Thanet. Alexandra Motorcycles, lovely shop, and B&R Motorcycles, really like that because it's a proper old school style shop. The smells, as soon as you walk in you can smell the old engines and stuff. Got a bike behind me. Smells a bit fresh around here. Smells like sewage works is playing up. So one job I did do back in the day was cleaning out portable loos. That's what this smells like. Thankfully we don't have smell-o-vision yet. So there we go. A little catch up. Out of work, jobless bum, but I don't want to be out of work. So if anyone knows of any work local to me in Margate or wants their bike fixed, I can help grow my channel. Or if any sponsorships want to come on board and help us out, that'd be great. Because we're approaching Robinson's Foundry now, and she seems to be running okay at the moment. I think a good blast done her some good. Didn't like idling. Cheers, buddy! There we are. My little heaven. My little piece of heaven. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you have stuck all the way to the end and you're not a subscriber, please do so. And I'll see you all again next week. Goodbye.